So I have some data about Satish. Now my information is there, my data. When I have my data, like a name, age, city, institute name, phone number, salary, account number, password, girlfriend phone number. Now, look at this. This is some data what we have. Now, this data belongs to Satish. This is my data. This data belongs to me. Now, will I be happy to share each and every information with everyone? No. There is some data which I can share with everyone. There is some data which I can share with only associated people. There is some data which I can share with only myself. Right. Now, when the data belongs to Satish, the entire data belongs to me only, but out of this data, I have certain limitations. Certain part of the data I can share with everyone. Certain part of the data I cannot share with everyone. So I need to identify which I can share, which I cannot share. Now let us say name. I have no problem in sharing my name with everyone. I have no problem in sharing my data with everyone. Everyone means within capital, outside the capital. Now, my age. Now, this may be known to the people who are in capital. Right. Everyone in the capital. You know it, boss? Right. So, I also belong to your age group only. But I look more older than you. But I'm 33 years old. Now, city. Now, the place to which I belongs to. I have no problem in placing this information. I can keep for everyone. The institute name I can keep for everyone. The phone number. Now I cannot share my phone number with everyone, even to capital staff. So my phone number is known to only my partners and family members. So even my staff will not be knowing it. Now I have salary. Will I share my salary detail with everyone? No. I'll be sharing with my right. Now I have account number. I have no problem in sharing with my password, which I'll be keeping for myself. Only I'll be knowing it. And my girlfriend number, will I share with my wife? No, right? So I have to keep for myself. Now, if you look at this, there is a data. In this data, there is certain data which I can share with everyone. There is certain data which I have to keep for myself, and there is some data which I can share with everyone in the arc. Now, this information I have to classify which I can share, which I cannot share. So how do you convey the same message to the system? You have to convey the same message to the system. How do you convey the same message to the system? We convey it by using access modifiers. Now we have global, public, protected, when I say I want to share the data or info within the organization, outside the organization, then I'll go with the global. Within the organization, within the application, outside the application, global. When I say I want to share the data only within my application, permission. Now, when I say public within my organization only, when I have protected. Now, this is only within the class and child classes. Not even within the organization, not for everybody in the organization, only within the class and within the child class. Private, okay, it cannot be shared with anyone. Private, it cannot be shared with everyone, only within the class in which you define. So global within the organization, anywhere within the organization, anywhere outside the organization. Public, only within the organization. Protected, only within the scope in which you define and the child scopes. Private, only within the scope in which you define. So this will decide, or this will convey the scope of this data. When you are defining a variable, when you are defining a function, when you are defining a variable, when you are defining a function, it will convey the scope of this data. Where can I use this? Can I use it within the class only? Can I use it outside the class? Can I use it within the child class? Can I use it anywhere within the application? Can I use this outside the application? This is identified based on the access modifier what you define. So what are they? Global, public, protected, private. Global means within the application, outside the application. Public, anywhere within the application. Protected, only within the class and its child class. Private, only within the class. I hope you are good. This will specify the scope of the members of the class, or the methods, or the variables, or the class. I hope you are good. Right. So let me give you scope of the members in the first. Wait. If you define class, method, variable as private, they can be accessed only within the class in which they are defined. By default, if you don't mention, the modifier, by default it will be private. If you define class, method, variable as public, they can be accessed anywhere within the application. Anywhere within the application. Define class or method as protected, they can be accessed So if you define class, method or a variable as protected, they can be accessed within the class in which they are defined within the shared classes. Global. If you define class, method or variable global, they can be accessed within the class, within the application and outside the application. If you want to define web services, then we define the class basically. Global means what? Within the application, outside the application. Public means within the application. Protected means within the class and within the inherited shared classes. Private means only within the class in which it is defined. I hope everybody is good. Okay. We see where we will use these functionalities down the line. Okay. Right now, remember it. I am going to use them one by one. I hope everybody is good with this. Okay. Now, try to get into our major concept. You can access the notes from the account. Okay. Don't be busy in writing the notes. Listen to conversation. Right. Now listen to the point. We are trying to go for a class. First of all, why you go for a class? What will be there in the class? Now, I have 4 students, boss. My requirement is to collect information about 4 students. I want to know what these people can do. I have these 4 students. I want to collect their data and I want to know what they can do. Then, what is the information you want to collect? This person name, age, phone number, city. Now, what is the data you want to find out about second person? So, what you are doing, your intention is to collect the same type of data about the 4 different people. When you want to collect the same type of information, why are you creating number of variables? If the same type of data you want to collect, why don't you create like a template? Now you come to our institute for an inquiry. Now the moment you come for inquiry, I will type an inquiry form. What is that? Name, phone number, email? Will I type a inquiry form and give you inquiry form? No. Why? We have very clear idea what is the data we want to collect from you before I start giving giving a information about the course. So what we have done, we have created one template. We are taking the xerox of the template and giving to the students whoever is coming for inquiry. Now, because the same type of data I want to collect from everyone. When you are trying to collect the same type of data, why you want to create every time you create? People, meet your mics, boss. Monica, meet your mic. Monica, meet your mic. If I mute the mic, you will not be able to ask me any queries. So mute from your end so that you can unmute the mic and ask the queries what we have. Right. Now, when you want to collect the same type of data, why are you creating again and again? String name, integer is 4, string 4, string city. String name, string a, okay, integer is string city, string 4. String name, integer is string 4, okay, string city. Why you are building the same thing again and again? Same type of data you are collecting, right? When you are building the same type of data, why don't you create like a template? So when I want, I'll just take a copy of the template and use it. Are you getting my point? What I'm doing, when you want to give the same thing for everyone, create one copy, take a xerox of it and give to everyone. Why are you typing again and again? So same type of data we are collecting. This is one point. Second, this is the data. What the student can do? Actions, what he can do? He can eat, he can fight, he can sleep, he can watch movies, study also, boss. Now what is this? These are the actions. What the student? Boss, this is the data of the student. These are the actions what the student can do. Now, same type of actions everybody is doing. When you are doing the same type of action, let me combine these and make like a template. The template will have what? Data and actions. This is the data of this guy. This is the data and this is the action. I have created a template. Now, what I will do? I created a template. Instead of creating this many times, I created this like a template. How I am creating a template? I gave a scope. Like this template I created. I gave a name for this template. What is the name of this template? In the template, what we have? We have data and action. Now, if I want to collect the data about this person, I am saying student. So what was that? Now the student is, who is the student? STD. The student is STD. Now what is the template he is using? Student. Now in the template, what is there? Name, age, phone, city, eat, fight, sleep, watch movies, study. Instead of creating again and again, I created like a template. The template I was using again. Now what happened? This has reduced the burden of defining them again and again. So whenever I want to use, instead of recreating entire thing, simply I am saying template name and one instant. Now you belongs to STD. You are STD1, you are STD2, STD3. Now what is this STD1, STD2, STD3? It is of copies of template student. Copies of template student. In the template student, what is there? Name, age, phone, city. It is the data. On this data, what you can perform? Eat, fight, sleep, watch movie, study. I hope you do. I hope you are following. So we have created a scope. The scope has data and action. And the scope has given a name. The scope is given a name. Whenever I want to refer to the scope, the name of the scope followed by variable. So this is a variable of this scope. This is a variable of this scope. So STD is a variable of which scope? Student. STD1 is a variable of which scope? Student. When it is scope student, Whatever that is there in the scope, that will come to this variable. Whatever that is there in the scope, that will come to this variable. Flower bracket always indicate what? Scope. For the scope, we give a name. Whenever I want to call the scope, I'll give name. Student, referring to the scope, STD. What this STD is, creating one template of the scope what you are given. Are you getting my point? Clear? Clear? This is technically called class. This is technically called class. Creating a scope with the data and actions. Creating a scope with the data and actions is called class. If you define a scope with the data and actions together, it is technically called class. The definition goes, the collection of data members and methods. Now, what is your JNTU definition, boss? What is a class? It is a collection of objects. What is an object? It is an instance of class. Now, where is the definition of object and class? Class is a collection of objects. Object is an instance of class. Now, what is a class? It is a collection of object. What is an object? It is an instance of a class. 16 by 16 marks, right? Right. So, what was this? Now, we are trying to understand what is class. So, what is a class? Class is a concept derived from encapsulation. What is encapsulation? It is a wrapping up of data and actions together under one scope. It is a wrapping up of data and actions together under one scope. It's just like user-defined template, which contains data and actions. It is like a user-defined template which contains data and action. So, concept of class is derived from the fundamental properties of what is that? Encapsulation. What is that encapsulation? Okay, putting the data and actions together under one scope. Putting the data and actions together under one scope is called encapsulation. And for the scope, if you give a name, we call it as a class. I hope you are good. Okay. So, let me go ahead with this. It is a collection of data members. It is a collection of data members and actions wrapped under this concept is derived from encapsulation. It is a collection of data members and actions wrapped under one scope. This concept is derived from encapsulation. Syntax. Global or so your class should be either a global or a public. We can define the class as a global or a public class name. In this, this is what we create. First one. every outer class should be defined as global or if you want to access this class outside the application, we define them as if you want to access this Apex class within the application only, second point, class. What is a class? It is a keyword. This is a keyword. Class name. What is the class name? It is a identifier name given to the scope to recognize then we have data members. Data is defined as data members using variables. So what we have, access modifier should be a global or a public. Class is a keyword. Class name is a identifier name. And data members are defined as a variable methods. So we have some basic principle. Class name should be defined using upper camel. Data members actions are also defined using lower camel. We already saw what is this upper camel and lower camel. So the naming conventions what we have to have. Data is defined as data members using variables. Variables are defined using lower camel naming convention. Actions are also defined. Right. So this is the basic syntax of this. Right, boss? I hope you are good with this. Let us go to the next one. Example. public class example. Integer age, string name, I have defined. Class with the data members. Public class, class name, and corresponding data members. Similarly, you create the examples. Everybody design these examples. So start creating this example, everyone. Everyone start writing the code. Remove the legs. Right, boss. So what we are doing? Public class student. I'm defining the variables. Similarly, we are creating the other classes here. Public class employee. So this is how we have created the classes. I hope you can create the remaining. Okay. Now, next examples, let us see. create a apex class student name phone, mail, create a method show which will display name phone, create a class student with a name phone email, create a method show which will display name phone email, which will display name phone email. We have string name, have a method public void show, public void show. I want to print it. Yes. What was that? We are creating a class with the data members and action. What is the action we are doing? Display.
Satish, in example 8, the method we have defined show, I think we should call it also, right? With variable, with parameters.
Come again.
In example 8, we have
I'm not
created a
passing
method
code.
show.
No, I'm not any code. As per my requirement, you build it. I'll create an object and pass the
Oh,
values. Okay.
okay.
Satish, in example 9, it should be if experience is more than 5 years.
Yeah.
Then
Okay. Sorry. decimal experience. I created a class with the data members. Then what I asked to create? Create a method, calculate. Create a method, calculate. When you create a method, calculate, what we are doing? If experience is greater than 5, right, boss? So we had a come again. See, when I say experience greater than 5, what does it mean by else? Less than or equal to, If I give experience is greater than 5, what is the else condition? What will be the else condition? Less than or equal to, Right, Amma? So people are following this. Everybody is good with this. Able to write? Able to write the code? Now, everyone is able to write the code, boss. Everyone is able to write the code, right? Am I clear with this? Everyone is able to write the code. Right. Now let us take the next example. Create a Apex class. Of details with name, stage name, close date, this will check. Set the close date. Stage name is Done with this? So how will you do it? Public class of TD days. Then I ask you to create a method, public void. In the invoke, what I ask you to do? If stage name equal to close date equal to, how do you refer to today's? System dot today. If you want to create a particular date, new instance of, or else 15 days from today, right? You can give. Anybody finding it difficult to write, let me know. We can take a couple of more examples. These are the basics. If you don't follow them, it will be difficult for you. Everybody is comfortable in writing the code. If anybody is finding it difficult, let me know. I can take a couple more examples. Don't copy the code. These are the basics of your Apex programming. If you don't get them right, rest of the development will be tough for you. Any difficulty for anyone, let me know. I can take a couple more examples. Everybody is comfortable in writing the code, right? Anyone has any issue with that? Everybody followed, right? If you stop copying only, you'll get the programming. Make an attempt of writing. If you got stuck up, then check the code. Don't fill your books with the code. Nobody will publish that. Neither you understand your class what you done. So make an attempt of writing the code, right? What is the next one we had? Public void. What I was asking you to do? Name, rating, close date. What is the other one? Now this is one action. This is one action. Now if I define any data here, this can be used within the method. This can be used here also. Why? It is a global, right? Any data defined outside the scope is a global. This is the scope. Outside the scope is a global. Any data that is defined outside the scope is a global. I can use the data within or outside the scope. I hope you are good with this. Clear? Okay. Now let us do one more example. You take your own class. Now you take your own requirement. You design, you take your own data, you take your own method, write a class. You design the requirement and you design the program. You create your own class. Take your own class with your own data, with your own method and start creating.